Good morning, everybody. Souders Catfishing here with you again today. And on this video, we're going to try to show you everything about shad, and some more shad. So, to start with, it'll be the kinds of shad, and then it'll be where to find them, and then how to catch them, and what to do with them once you catch them. So stick around. Hope you learned something, and thanks for watching. Alright, so to start with is what kinds of shad. My two primary types of shad that I like to use are gizzard shad and threadfin shad. I primarily use gizzard shad if available, and only use threadfin shad if I can't get gizzards. The main reason for that are a couple reasons. One, normally gizzard shad are bigger than threadfin. Two, they bleed better. They're a lot more oily. And three, normally they're bigger. Bigger than shad, your threadfins, and they live better than threadfins. So with that being said, we'll start, and I want to show you guys kind of what to look for when you're in these backwaters to find them before you even get on the water. There'll be little ripples on the water, and those are normally shad. So I'll move the camera over so you guys can see them. Hopefully you guys can see them. Well, I'm not for sure if you'll be able to or not, but I'll try to zoom in so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so if you can see those little ripples out through there, those are shad flipping on top of the water, and that is a good sign that they're in the area. Okay, so gizzard shad, threadfin shad. Now, I'm a big proponent on bigger shad. I like to use 8 inches, 10-inch shad for cut bait, 6 to 8 inch for live bait. And what I use to catch them is the net we'll be throwing today will be an ultra spreader. It is a 9 foot, 1 pound per radius, and it is 1 inch holes in the mesh. And I use the bigger mesh so I don't have to fool with the smaller ones. If you're not catching the smaller ones in the net, you're not going to kill as many, and it'd be more for you to catch next time you come around. Also, another net, if I'm wanting to catch smaller bait fish, say the 4 inch, say I'm wanting to go out and I'm wanting to bass fish for stripers or white bass or something, and I want shad that are 3-4 inches long, then I will use a 10 foot. This is 1.5 pounds per radius foot, and it is 5/8 square diameter. And that way I can catch, what I want, what I'm targeting. You don't want to use a small net, say a 3/8, if you're trying to catch a bigger shad. You'll have to deal with a lot of the small shad. And so if you're wanting big shad, use a bigger diameter or square mesh. But always make sure that you check your lulls, your local lulls, to make sure. Now here in Kentucky, I can throw a bigger net and I don't have to worry about it. But if I go into Ohio or West Virginia, I got to make sure that I'm throwing the net size that is legal. So we'll get out here, see if we can't catch a few of them, and then I'll kind of show you diagrams of where to catch them and the times of year. Right now, winter time, it's normally pretty easy to catch them, more so than in the summer. So let's get out here. We'll throw the net a few times. I'll show you guys what they look like on the sonar, and hopefully be able to put them in the boat pretty quick and get to fishing. So let's see what happens. All right, guys, coming up the river, and I seen another spot that is a real good holding area for shad, especially in the summertime. So I figured I'd stop real quick, get the camera going, and show you guys. So anytime okay, if you guys can see it, there's a concrete tunnel tile coming in to the river, and those collect algae on the concrete all the time, and those make for really good places in the summertime to get shad, is right off the edge of it. So if you're in your area of the woods and you come across one of these and need bait, try it. But be careful, because on both sides of it there will probably be riprap. And of course, you know, that's going to run your net. So if you're looking for bait, this is another good area to find shad. So keep it in mind. Okay, so as we move along up through here, you know, we want to kind of look for that real tight school of bait, you know, and it may take you a little while to find it, but once you find it, you can normally load up on your bait. And I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. If you can see right here, it's kind of over to our left, but that is a big school of gizzard shad. So we'll go up here and we'll get turned around, and it looks like we're coming into a few more here. There's another little school, and then that's kind of what we're looking for as we move up through here, is these schools of gizzard shad. So keep that in mind when you're working a creek or a little river or backwater. You know, right today we're finding them in 25 foot of water. That makes it extremely hard to catch them, but that's where the big net, heavy weight, you know, on that net comes into play. So I'll get turned back around here, and we'll see if we can't get a few in the net. Alright, so once you catch them in the net, you want to try to put them straight into the tank. You don't want to dump them out into the floor And I try not to dump them into a bucket. I try to put them straight into the tank. And then just load back up and try it again. Now, once you do find them, we found that nice little patch of them there. After you throw them a few times, you'll have to kind of move around to where and relocate them and refine them. And once you refine them, repeat the process and until you get enough bait. So, if you're in an area where you got a little backwater or a little creek or another small little river, look around and you'll eventually find the big school or bigger school of shad, and stay on it, especially in the winter time. You stay on them and you can catch yourself enough bait to go fishing pretty quick. So that's what we'll do, is we'll spin back around, get back on them, and put some more in the tank. Alright, so this is what it looks like whenever, we had to move on them, and, now we're back on them. So we'll get the net out there and see what we can come up with. Now once you throw it out, just let it sink all the way to the bottom, and depending on how deep you're trying to catch them out of, right now we're trying to catch them out of like 20 foot of water, so that can be harder even in the cold temperatures to catch them out of deeper water. like I said, whenever you get on them, you can see it don't take long and you can catch yourself enough bait. You just got to find them. It may take you a little while to find them, but once you find them, stay on them, and it ain't going to take you long to catch enough gizzard shad to go fish with. Like I said again, we'll put them straight into the tank. Okay, so now we have our gizzard shad and we have them in our tank. What do we do to keep them alive? Now, what I like to do in the wintertime is really easy. I just have a recirculating pump in my tank, and my tank in front of my boat is round. It's actually oval. I'll just kick that recirculating pump on, and in the wintertime that's fine. It doesn't take much to keep them alive in the wintertime. So okay guys, earlier today we were out catching bait and fishing, and we just was able to keep the bait alive and the boat live well. And the reason for that was because the water temperature was 50 degrees, and he was able to keep the oxygen level up and keep 48-inch gizzard shad alive in a 30-gallon tank in the boat. Now what I want to show you is that once the water temperature gets 65 degrees and the sun starts shining down and it's real bright and real hot, 70 degrees, whatever, you got to start using a different tank and a different way of keeping them alive. One thing that I like to use is a 40-gallon Gary. This is my regular bait tank. It's a Gary line, 40-gallon. It's aeration, filtration, and circular oval tank all together. Here's the filtering system. You can see it fits down inside the tank. Pillow filler, ammonia filter, biofilter, and activated charcoal filter. So that's the tank that I normally use once the water gets up to 70 degrees. Now, as the water continues to rise, what I'll do is I'll start to add ice to it a little bit to get the temperature of it down. And something else that I will always, also do is limit the amount of bait I put in it. Instead of putting 40 live shad in a 40-gallon tank, I will drop the number down to say 30. Then once the water temperature starts getting up to around 80, I'll even drop that number down to 20. And the reason for that is it's easier to keep 20 gizzard shad alive in a 40-gallon tank at that temperature, because the oxygen level, once your water gets up, it's hard to keep the oxygen level up. So 20 don't need as much oxygen as 40, obviously. So like I said, once your water temperature comes up, limit the amount of bait you have in here, because 20 live gizzard shad is better than 40 dead gizzard shad. So make sure that you're cleaning your filters. I use tap water to start with. So you put 40 gallons of tap water in here, you have to add enough chemicals to get the chlorine and other chemicals out. So something I use is Better Bait. 1 heaping tablespoon treats 50 gallons, so I put that in my 40-gallon tank. And also mix and fine salt. Buy it at Tractor Supply. It's just a feed salt that they mix with farmers feed to cattle and horses and things. But I'll use 2 cups of salt per 40 gallons. And that just helps keep their scales on, their stress level down, their slime coat on, and keeps them from red nosing and eventually dying on you. Now once you put your bait in the tank, and as you're cleaning it, they're going to put off, they're going to poop and things in the tank, and there'll be a foam start to collect on top of the water. Sure Life makes foam off, and it just takes a couple little drops in the tank, takes care of that problem. And also something that you can use, you don't have to use it with this stuff, you can use it by itself, you can however you want to do it. It's called stress coat. That's just another additive that you can put in your tanks. You don't have to. You can use this all by itself, or you can do it the way that I do it. So that's how I set up my tank once the temperatures raise up more. Now, if you're keeping shad and the water's cooler, you can use the water out of the river, creek, lake, whatever you want to use it out of, as long as it's, say 50 degrees, 55 degrees. Once it starts getting into the 60 and 70 degree range, you'll want to start going back to your tank and using tap water and adding your chemicals and your salt. Now it's always a good idea to add salt, even in like your lake water or creek or river water. A little bit. You don't want to add as much as you do for regular tap water, but you can always add a little bit of salt, and it's going to help your bait calm down and stay calm, and eventually it's just going to be better bait all around. So that's how I set my tank up for warm weather, hot weather. I hope that helps, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. So thanks for watching.